Okay, so when we have a system of equations that are not in slope-intercept form, when it's in standard form, we have to use elimination or substitution to figure out the solution to these two equations. So the first thing that we're going to do is try to eliminate a variable. So you might have to multiply first to make it subtraction instead of addition. But if you already have two opposites, so like right here, we're just trying to cancel out a variable. So we can't cancel these two out, but these two are already opposites. So if we add, these two are going to cancel out. We add x plus 10x and we get 11x, and 6 plus 16 is 22. So once we've eliminated a variable, then we solve for the remaining variable. So we had 11x equals 22. To solve for the remaining variable, we just divide by 11 on both sides, and we get x equals 2. Once we have our x value, we can substitute that back in to figure out our y value. So we know x plus 2y equals 6. Instead of x, we're going to put parentheses wherever x is and substitute 2 in. Then we can just solve to find our next variable. So we would have 2 plus 2y equals 6. We subtract 2 from both sides and get 2y equals 4. We divide everything by 2 and we get y equals 2. So now we know that x is 2 and y is 2. So we always write our answer as an ordered pair, just like we would if we graphed them. So x was 2 and y was 2. So on the back, we have some examples. The first thing we need to look at is which ones are opposites and can cancel out. So we see that we have a positive x and a negative x. If we added all of these together, those would cancel out. 6y plus negative y is going to give us 5y and 20. We divide by 5 to get y by itself, and we get y equals 4. Now that we know our y value, we can take our y value and substitute it back in. So x plus 6y equals 24. Instead of y, we want to put 4, so we put parentheses and substitute 4 in. 6 times 4 is 24. We solve for x by subtracting. And we get x equals 0. We need to write our answer as an ordered pair, so our x value goes first and our y value goes second. For number 2, you see that these are opposites already, so we're going to add. Those cancel out, and then these also cancel out. So we get 0 equals 0. If this is true, then it's infinitely many solutions, because these would be the exact same line. So we get our answer would be infinite. For number 3, we can see that our y values are opposite. So positive 4 and negative 4. So we add them together. Negative 2x plus negative 5x is negative 7x. This cancels out, and we get 28. We divide both sides by negative 7. and x will be -4. Now that we know our x value, we need to substitute it back in to one of our equations to find y. So we get -2. Instead of x, we put parentheses -4 plus 4y equals 8. When we multiply that, we get 8 plus 4y equals 8. We subtract on both sides. We get 4y equals 0. To get y by itself, we need to divide by 4, and y will equal 0. So we get -4 as our x value and 0 as our y value. For number 4, we see that our y values are opposite. When we add, this will give us -4x equals -8. We divide both sides by -4 to get x by itself, and x will be +2. When we substitute this back in, instead of x, we can put +2. We'll get 4 minus 2y equals -4. We subtract 4 on both sides, and we'll get -2y equals -8. We divide by -2 to get y by itself, and y will equal +4. So our x value is 2, our y value is 4. Sometimes we don't have opposites already, so we'll have to make them opposites. So instead of adding, so right here we have +2y and +2y. Instead of adding these together, we'll need to subtract this whole entire thing, which will just change the signs. So when we subtract, this will be a +4x, a -2y, and this would change the sign, but it's 0. So then when we put these together, this will be -6x. These now cancel out, and we get 12. To solve for x, we divide by -6 on both sides, and x will be -2. Then we solve like the same exact way we were doing a second ago. So we have -10. Instead of x, we put a parentheses and -2 plus 2y equals 12. -10 times -2 is +20 plus 2y equals 12. We subtract 20 from both sides, and we'll get 2y equals -8. To get y by itself, we divide by 2, and y will be -4. So our solution is -2, -4. Let's do number 8 together. So these are already opposite, or these are the same numbers, but they have the exact same signs. So we need to subtract instead of add. So that will change all of these signs to positive, negative, negative. So these will cancel out, and then these end up canceling out too. So we get 0 on this side, and over here we get 2. If this is true, it's infinitely many. But since this is not true, there would be no solution. On number 6, you see that your y's are the same, but we need to change all of the signs so that we can have opposites that will cancel out. So we will multiply by a negative to change all of the signs. Over here, we'll get -8x equals -24. If we divide everything by -8, we'll be able to get x by itself, and we'll get 3. Substitute that back in. We'll get negative 18 minus 9y equals negative 18. If we add 18 to both sides, we'll get negative 9y equals 0, which means y equals 0. So there's your answer. All right, go ahead and try number 7 on your own. When you subtract these, all the signs should change. The y's will cancel out. You'll get negative 18x equals 0. So then you divide by negative 18, and x is going to be 0. Now substitute this in to find y. When you substitute 0 in, negative 10 times 0 is 0. So then we just get 9y equals negative 9. We divide everything by 9, and we get y equals negative 1. So your answer should be 0, negative 1. All right, now you have a Delta Math to complete, and then you're ready for your quiz.